Good afternoon, Tiger fans. We are live from CalGuard Gym at Trinity University in San Antonio, Texas. We hope you are out of your turkey coma. The Trinity Tigers are ready to play just their second home game of the year against the Birmingham-Southern Panthers in the Leslie Robinson Thanksgiving Classic. I'm Brian Yanselson, and I'm joined by Luke Terry. Luke, these Tigers are off to a hot start at 5-0, but we haven't gotten to see them much at home yet. What are you most excited to see from this Trinity squad?
Well, Brian, I'm really excited to watch these Tigers get out and run and transition. I think it's an emphasis, certainly something that they plan on every single game. It's a big part of their offense to get out and beat the defense and take advantage of some really energetic and explosive plays. So it'll be exciting to watch that, but more than anything, I'm excited for some really, really competitive basketball here today. This is a great Trinity team, but on the other side, in BSC, Birmingham-Southern, this is an opponent that you cannot take lightly, really. They've come into this game at 2-2, but they've had some exhibition matches. They've played just as much basketball here in this early year, and one of those matchups, one of those games, those exhibition games to really take note of is a matchup against Lipscomb University, a game that they dropped just by 7 points against a pretty good Division I opponent. So more than anything, Brian, really good basketball is going to be played here this afternoon, and that's what I'm looking forward to most.
I think you're absolutely right about that one. That 2-2 record, a little misleading because of how well these Panthers have played, and of course the 5-0 record for the Tigers. Before we officially get started here, the starting lineups for both teams. For the Birmingham-Southern Panthers, you've got Charlie Barnett, guard, Denman Kane at guard, and Cameron Glover. And you've also got Jay Gillespie and Christian Stewart. For the Trinity Tigers, you've got Ben Hanley, Caleb Jenkins, Tanner Brown, A.J. Clark, and Enzo Seiki. Familiar faces for the Tigers. Those five have started each of the first 5 games for the Tigers up to this point. A good crowd here at CalGuard Gym on this Black Friday. Seiki and Stewart ready for the tip-off. And we are officially underway here in San Antonio. Tanner Brown gets the tip-off and hands it off to Caleb Jenkins, who right away puts it up with the 3, but that one rattles out.
And I think exactly what we're expecting from the Tigers in this one. Quick offense, quick shot from Jenkins to start this game. A couple bounces off the rim.
And that one in the post, Gillespie trying to put that one up, but it falls out. Hanley taking it the other way, and as you said, this Tiger team likes to get out and run. Seiki with another 3-point attempt for the Tigers. That one no good.
But 2 really quality looks from outside for the Tigers really, really early on. Big part of the reason that they're shooting over 40% from deep. Such a great mark for this level of competition early on in the year.
And a missed 3-point attempt for Birmingham-Southern. Kane misses it, but the rebound and put back up by Gillespie. And off that first made basket, we see something that Coach Jimmy Smith talked to me about earlier this week as the Tigers turn it over.
It looks like the call from the ref right there was an over and back, which I happen to disagree with wholeheartedly. Clark landing in a jump stop pretty far into the front court right there. I think typically the assumption when a player jump stops like that is that they're trying to establish themselves, but I think Clark was well into the front court before that pass was made. I believe Brown was the one making that pass from the middle of the court, and he made a point of emphasis to lead Clark a little bit with that one. So I think a missed call from the referee to start this one. The Panthers have it, and they'll go into the backcourt here.
Yeah, but to that point of the turnover, you see Birmingham with the full court press, and they are a team that likes to do that, put pressure on opponents. And Trinity preparing for that, knowing that the 2 games they'll play this weekend will be against totally contrasting styles. Birmingham with that press, and tomorrow against Carleton, who is more conservative on defense, but Coach Smith talking about how no matter who they play, they have to keep their style of play, go fast, try to run as fast as they possibly can, really. They've scored over 90 points in 3 consecutive games. So we'll see how that press affects the Tigers. That ball's going the other way.
Yeah, Brian, absolutely right. Certainly contrasting styles. Birmingham-Southern setting up in the press for a second consecutive Tiger offensive possession. I saw that Carleton team in the first matchup of today's action. As you said, much more conservative, opting to play half-court defense for almost the entirety of that game, if not the entirety.
And the Tigers already used to those contrasting styles as Tanner Brown goes under the basket, kicks it out to Ben Hanley, and another three-point attempt rattles out, but A.J. Clark there for the rebound, forces a jump ball. Possession arrow pointing towards the Panthers, but some nice hustle there from Clark, who leads this Tiger team with 6.6 rebounds per game. And Jenkins there forcing the turnover on the inbounds pass, Hanley to Clark, and able to put it in for the first points for the Tigers. So 2 minutes go past this game before Tigers get on the board, but they're able to make that one, and they get into a press of their own.
Yeah, but great energy from these Tigers to start the game. Sink back into this zone defense. Birmingham-Southern playing in and out basketball. Every single possession, they've found the ball in the post, but Tigers get out and run transition right here. Jenkins with the follow is good. The Tigers with a quick 4 after struggling to get on the board to start the game.
And there's just no time to blink, is there, Luke? These Tigers out and running off that missed shot. Kane with another three-point attempt. This one also no good, but another offensive rebound by Stewart, and he puts it back up and in. But you see, off that made shot, Tanner Brown takes it right the other way. Now Hanley pulls it back out a little bit.
It seems like
Brown
such a
for 3, and he drills his first three-point attempt of the afternoon.
As I was saying, Brian, it seems like such a point of emphasis for this Trinity team to establish the pace that they want to play at. I think more often than not, opponents get sucked into playing at that same pace, so it'll be interesting to see what Birmingham-Southern opts to do. As Enzo Seiki steps up to take the charge right there. Again, this Panther team playing a little bit quickly, maybe a little bit too quickly, forcing the action right there. Seiki set well outside the restricted area, I think entirely outside of the paint, forcing the turnover.
I was going to say the play clock has not gotten started on that inbounds pass. So the referee stop play, get that settled out. Looks like there will be 27 seconds on the play clock. Shot clock. I think I'm still used to being over at the football field. The football season just concluded for our Trinity Tigers.
Yeah, it's a hard job for you, Brian, when you're never out of season, going from one sport to the next, even calling multiple in the same season.
It's an absolute pleasure, especially when these teams are so good. And Enzo Seiki takes that pass from Jenkins right in the heart of the paint and is able to put it up for the basket. But the Panthers try to put one up quickly, blocked by A.J. Clark. And the Tigers off and running again. Jenkins finds Seiki, who posts up on Stewart, dribbles it off his foot. And another jump ball coming. This one should go the way of Trinity. And that'll also mean we are under 16 minutes for our first media timeout. Let's catch our breath a little bit and be right back after this break on Tiger Network. Welcome back to Tiger Network. After a 2-minute scoring drought to start this one, the Tigers have made their last 3 field goal attempts, and they lead Birmingham-Southern 9-4 early here, just under the 16-minute media timeout. And Hanley on the inbounds play to Clark. Tries to float it up there, but no good.
Some early substitutions here for the Panthers. One of the most notable ones being number 50, Brody Davis, who checks into the game. He's appeared in all 4 games for the Panthers to this point in the year, but he's only averaged 5 minutes.
Panthers doing a nice job getting it around, and that results in a 3 for Caleb Green, freshman in off the bench from Huntsville, Alabama.
So a couple substitutions, and back to Davis, who checks in for the first time here on the day. Again, only averaging 5 minutes, although he has played in all 4 games this year. Certainly gives this Panthers team a size advantage. Currently matched up in the post with number 2 for the Tigers, Enzo Seiki. Stands in at 6'6". Davis has the advantage at 6'10".
And Seiki with the wide open 3-point jumper, but no good, as a Birmingham defender fell on that one, leaving Seiki wide open.
It's been interesting to watch that matchup as we continue here in the first half. Davis, obviously, the significant size advantage, but Seiki has been someone that's shown us a little bit of everything. Even at 6'6", someone that can go down low and bang with the bruisers, but he's also skilled enough to play from the outside, to shoot it from deep, to handle the ball. Should be really fun for the duration of this one.
And right there, the Panthers trying to knock down consecutive 3-pointers, but the attempt from Williams no good, and Ben Hanley going up among 3 Panthers, able to get that rebound and then fouled. And then he breaks the press. Clark to Seiki. Had the layup, missed it, got his own miss and put it right back up there. So some nice perseverance there from Seiki, and he gets his first bucket there. Panthers able to get in the middle of the zone, but unable to break through, and then that pass just a little bit too long. So it'll be right back to the Panthers.
I think that's one of the fine lines that the Tigers find themselves trying to traverse game in and game out. It's the desire to push the ball deep down the court. Obviously, Clark had a little bit of a seam right there, but Seiki pushed it a little bit too far ahead, and we've seen this Tiger team turn it over quite a bit, but they make up for it more often than not on the defensive side of the court, as they did right there. A.J. Clark with active hands knocks it off the Birmingham-Southern defender and gets the ball right back for the Tigers.
But you hit the nail on the head on a point that Coach Smith talked about. 2 areas he thinks this team is struggling the most in, even with their 5-0 record: missed free throws and turnovers. As Jenkins able to drain that 3, and goes into his little bow and arrow kit, lets us know that he is ready to go here, the reigning SCAC Player of the Year. Brown in the open court, and he puts it up, an easy bucket for the Tigers. And the Panthers suddenly on a 2-minute scoring drought of their own. The Tigers extending their lead 16-7. We'll take a quick timeout with Birmingham-Southern. Be right back on Tiger Network. Welcome back to Tiger Network. Tigers on a 7-0 run over the last minute, 8 seconds, extending their lead to 9 here early on in the first half.
And as we resume play, important to note, made a pretty big fuss about Brody Davis entering the game, but it seemed that as soon as he checked in, he checked back out, and the Panthers have kind of made their rotation through their bigs early on in this one. We talked about Seiki and his ability to do a lot of different things, and his mobility, especially on the offensive end, is kind of giving the bigs for Birmingham-Southern some fits. So they're already moved on to their 4th and 5th bigs of this one. Seiki again, the center of the action, taking that one towards the basket. This one will be out of bounds on the baseline for the Tigers.
And these are two teams, Luke, that like to go deep into the bench. 10 or 11 guys on both squads that average double-digit minutes. So not a huge surprise to see some guys coming off, but like you mentioned, some unexpected guys, at least early on here.
Yeah, and for both sides, it'll be interesting to see as the season moves along, get closer to conference play. If that will continue to be the case for this Tigers team, I'd be shocked if it wasn't, considering how often they get out and run as they do right here. A.J. Clark a little strong on the left wing, but Tanner Brown right there for the follow. As he also gets hacked, now goes to the free throw line for the opportunity for the and one.
And already 4 offensive rebounds for the Tigers, doing a great job picking up their teammates, getting the missed baskets, and putting them back up 4 points. Brown, especially someone we're used to seeing in the perimeter, shooting those 3-pointers, but he gets down there below the basket, puts it right back up, and makes the and one. Garrido trying to make something happen. Kane, who's missed a couple of 3-pointers. And a foul called on Caleb Jenkins. First team foul on the Tigers. Really the first changes now we'll see for the Tigers as a completely new lineup out there. Griffin Levine, Jacob Harvey, Ashton Owens, Abdullah Roberts, and David Nickel on for the Tigers. Tough break there for the Tigers. Clock running out for the Panthers, but a foul bails them out. Foul on David Nickel. So the shot clock at 20 seconds. Garrido trying to get it to Childers underneath the basket. Looks like a point of emphasis now that Nickel came in. Kane overthrows Garrido, but Garrido able to track it down in the backcourt. And he brings it back up, gets past Harvey, but Harvey recovers, nearly gets the steal. Childers gets it to Garrido, and a blocking foul called on Nickel.
A ton of action right there, Brian. Hard to follow, but we'll see on the replay here, hopefully, whether or not David Nickel was in position.
Didn't seem to be moving much. But nonetheless, a foul called on the Tigers. But early on here, doing a nice job on a 10-0 scoring run over the last 3 minutes. And this timeout gives us a little bit of an opportunity to talk about the turnovers for the Tigers, a real emphasis that they're trying to improve. They've averaged 16 turnovers a game. But if you've been keeping track at all, they're coming off a victory over the University of Texas, Dallas. They won that one 95-62, and they had 11 turnovers, their second fewest that they've had all season long. So clear that that's improving as the season goes along. Still very early on, just the 6th official game this season. But something that Coach Smith says is natural with a team that is getting used to playing this quickly. Not reflected on that 5-0 record is an exhibition these Tigers had across the city. quick trip down I-10 to UTSA, Division I opponent in the Roadrunners, and the Tigers really did a good job holding their own, but the biggest thing in that game was size and turnovers as Owens gets this one to Harvey, and Harvey puts it up. Roberts follows it. Levine now tracks it down. Roberts pulls up from 3 and hits it. Turns around to the Birmingham bench. Might have been shouting some things in his ear. Nice job there from Toliados, just pulling up in the middle of the key and getting the first Birmingham bucket in over 4 minutes.
Yeah, and it seemed like during that stretch, Birmingham-Southern took some second and third opportunities rather than being the aggressor and taking that first good look that opened up. David Nickel does exactly the same right there for the Tigers, hitting from that left elbow. But for Birmingham-Southern, it seems like it'll be necessary for them to get back to feeding the ball down low and going to work.
And Toliados takes it right to Levine. Had the size advantage there, and so a couple of buckets in a row for Toliados. Toliados averaging 8.3 points a game, second best on this Panther team. And Levine throws up a 3 late in the shot clock, unable to hit it. Panthers trying to get out and run. Toliados on Levine again, gets it to Stewart underneath the basket. Doesn't fall, but gets the foul call, so he'll be heading to the free throw line.
Yeah, and for the Tigers in that last offensive possession, just looked a little bit out of sorts, Brian. Obviously a team that wants to get out and run, but needs to be better in their half-court sets. Didn't really seem to get into anything as Birmingham-Southern was able to disrupt the offense a little bit, get over the top of some screens. The Tigers weren't able to do exactly what they wanted there, but Tigers in scenarios like that need to be able to adjust on the fly, change their sets as they go. They got about 20 seconds into the shot clock, decided just to pull up for the long 3.
Stewart made the first of his free throws, misses the second, and Nickel corrals the rebound, gets it to Harvey. Tigers trying to go quickly again. Harvey puts it up and is fouled. So you can see the benefits of going out and running, even on a missed free throw. Tigers wasting no time getting a free throw of their own. Jacob Harvey, the leading scorer off the Tiger bench in double digits, 10 points a game for the freshman. Freshman out of Huffman, Texas. Been one of the key contributors outside the starting 5. He hits his free throws.
Knocks down both of those, which is a great sign. So as you mentioned earlier in the game, Tigers haven't been the most successful at that spot, that part of the game to start the year, only shooting a bit under 63% from the line. Birmingham-Southern tosses up an air ball. They get the offensive rebound and the follow. That was Christian Stewart underneath the rim right there for the Panthers.
Harvey with the open 3, and he knocks it down. So Harvey with a couple of free throws and then a 3-point shot coming off the bench. So already 5 quick points for the first year. Toliados again just pulling up nicely in the middle of that zone. And Stewart takes this one away. Panthers have numbers. Stewart, lots of contact down there. No foul called until the very end of that play.
Referee assessing a flop warning right there. That one being assessed to Griffin Levine. He tried to step in and take the charge on that first shot attempt. Panthers have remained patient here in the last couple of possessions, getting the ball to the inside, taking advantage deep. And they've really gotten back on defense as well. Made the Tigers play in half-court sets.
And Toliados has been a big part of that with 3 buckets off the bench for 6 points, and he's kept it close enough for Birmingham as they still trail by 11. And Abdullah Roberts with the beautiful cut there, but unable to finish it. Had the nice feed there.
Looks like
and now he lost his shoe.
Came off in the middle of that play.
And Levine diving on the floor, forcing a jump ball. No, a timeout called by the Tigers. So it'll be Trinity basketball. Tigers up 29-18 with just over 8 minutes left in the first half. We'll take a quick break here on Tiger Network. Welcome back to Tiger Network. Trinity up 29-18 here in the first half. Something that stands out looking at that box score. Tigers shooting 40% from 3, Panthers just 10%, 1 of 10.
Yeah, but as Birmingham-Southern has settled back into this one, it doesn't seem like something that'll be entirely necessary for them on the day. Their offense has operated much more successfully when the ball has found the middle of the paint and the low blocks as well.
Tigers running a bit of half-court offense for one of the first times today, and Clark does a good job putting that one up. Clark, the lone starter on the court. Panthers have found success going into the middle of that zone. And there they go again. Gillespie going up and getting fouled.
Please do not use flash photography as it is distracting to the players. Thank you.
In this half, these last couple of minutes that they've made 5 of their last 7. First, it was really Toliados with the pull-up jumper in the paint. And then Stewart came back in, pushed his way to the basket, and this time it's Gillespie getting fouled as he went up for that layup, but he misses the first. But you can start to see the point of attack that the Panthers are trying to take. Gillespie misses both of those free throws, though, and Nickel gets the rebound. Clark to Brown in the corner, off the side of the hoop. Almost a blocking call there on Nickel. Clark closes out on that three-point attempt. Gillespie with the offensive rebound, and this time Nickel will be called with the foul.
Yeah, and Gillespie, a couple of possessions in a row, has shown his motor underneath the basket, out-hustling the Tiger team, perhaps going up over the top of Abdullah Roberts to get that offensive rebound. But nonetheless, winds up back at the free throw line and knocked the first one down. We've talked a lot about their capacity and their success as they've gone inside into the paint, Brian, and how I'm sure that's an approach that they'll continue to take. But you did mention that they're 1 for 10, did start 1 for 10 from deep in this one. And while I don't think it's entirely necessary for them to really get hot, as Roberts gets to the basket and gets fouled there, unable to finish the play, I don't think they're going to need to catch fire by any means at the three-point line. It will be necessary to certainly keep this Tiger defense honest a little bit. We've seen this Tiger defense really collapse. Gillespie hasn't had a whole lot of room to operate down there. So if his wings and guards can help him out a little bit by knocking down some threes and stretching this Tiger defense, then I'm certain that this Birmingham-Southern team would be a little bit happier overall.
Roberts makes 1 of 2 free throws. The Tigers back with some press action there. Panthers able to get it across the half-court line. Caleb Green running point. Gets it over to Jackson. A couple of freshmen on the court for the Panthers. And Glover, a freshman himself, tries the teardrop, but it rattles out. Jackson with the rebound and brings it back out. Now Green. And Childers trying what Toliados had done, just pulling up there in the middle of the paint, but not going his way as he missed it badly, and then an offensive foul. Clark giving up his body, drawing that one.
Yeah, and a pretty clear call there. Childers dropping that shoulder, as we'll see here on the replay. Goes through the midsection of Clark, and that one's going to get called every single time.
And a nice job there by Clark, not only giving up his body, but you could see on the replay, had his foot on the line, on the restriction line, but got it off in time, and now Seiki the other way puts it up after a break midway through this first half. Enzo Seiki back out with 4 of the 5 starters for the Tigers, and they take a 34-19 lead as Green pulls up from 3 and knocks it down from the top of the key. So a badly needed 3 there, just the second of the afternoon for Birmingham. Pulls them back to within 12. Jenkins trying to make some magic on his own. That one just misses. Now Birmingham trying to run. Green over to Jackson. Jump ball going to be called there. So Childers on the last couple of possessions having trouble finding room to work with.
Yeah, and he made a nice move along the baseline right there, but found himself underneath a basket swarmed by Tigers.
Right back to Childers, though. Defended by Seiki, and he puts up the hook shot. That one no good. Jackson with the rebound. So another opportunity, and Jackson puts it up. Brown finally with the defensive rebound for the Tigers. And Clark trying to go the other way before he's fouled. But now we're starting to see something the Tigers have also struggled with early on in this season. And it comes as a result of them playing a zone defense. Since they don't have a man to always know that they have to box out, they've allowed several offensive rebounds, now up to 8 that the Panthers have gathered. Clark misses the front end of his 1-and-1. Panthers with 9 team fouls, so the next one should put them in the double bonus. Guarantee 2 free throws for the Tigers, but not quite yet. Jackson trying to weave his way in, then gets it out to Glover. Brown jumping pretty early. And we'll see who the foul is called there, if it's on the leap of Brown or if it was the hands beneath. The foul is on Tanner Brown. That'll be his first. 7th team foul. Sam Spence makes his first free throw. Sophomore out of Memphis, Tennessee. Panthers just 3 of 7 from the line, so definitely an area they're going to have to improve upon if they're going to come back in this one. And Spence does his part, knocks down his 2 free throws. But off of those 2 makes, Tigers get out and run, and another foul called on Birmingham. This time on senior Jack Williams, who will get to go to the line. First we've seen of the senior from the Woodlands.
Yeah, Brian, you mentioned that foul coming off of made free throws. Incredible to see how quickly this Tigers team can get the ball out of the basket and back down into the paint on the other side of the court, right? Especially on free throws when, you know, the players who aren't lining up inside to rebound those who are taking the shot, everybody else can get back and set up defensively. So you had a couple of Panthers back for Birmingham-Southern already. You had a couple guys rebounding who were able to get to about half court in that press, but despite those things, Tigers were able to get the ball into the paint, and it turns into 2 quick points.
And the Panthers having to work so hard for each point that, like you said, giving up free throws off of your own made free throws, not something you want to see if you're Birmingham. This time an open 3-point attempt misses badly.
Going to be a foul called on Birmingham-Southern over there in the corner. It'll be Christian Stewart who gets tabbed with that one. Looked like he dove on top of a Tiger player in search of that loose ball. It seems that Caleb Jenkins got hacked right there, but he'll step to the free throw line to take what will now be a couple as the Tigers move into the double bonus.
Yeah, and the replay showed that nicely. Jenkins diving for the loose ball. And about 3 Panthers there surrounding him. The foul allowing Jenkins to step up to the free throw line. Take another look right there. Looks like Stewart is who is being called for the foul. Right there on the very corner of your screen, bottom left. And a timeout on the floor, so we'll be back after a quick break for these Caleb Jenkins free throws. Jenkins knocks down the first of his free throws, and it looks like that little quick timeout was to figure out who, in fact, the foul was on. But it was given to Stewart. And Jenkins able to make both of his free throws, so the Tigers doing their part, 8 of 10, 80% from the free throw line. A big reason for this 14-point lead that they've built up with just over 4 minutes left in the first half. Glover gets by a couple of Tiger defenders, gives it to Jackson and gets it right back. Glover with the 3 from the corner. One of the nicer possessions for the Panthers that we've seen, as Glover did a nice job getting through the Tiger defense. But here, another foul is going to be called on Birmingham. So every time you feel that they're getting some momentum, it seems like a foul has stopped it in its tracks. Jenkins to the line once again.
Yeah, and certainly we'll need to clean that up and figure out a way to stop this Tiger team in transition without fouling, obviously. Jenkins misses the first of 2 here. But one bright spot for the Panthers, after starting 1 for 10 from the 3-point line, they've made 2 of their last 5, so certainly an improvement there after starting 10%, upping it to 40% on their last 5 attempts. And certainly a great way to get back into this one as they find themselves down 12 here.
But the Panthers doing a much better job defensively. The Tigers haven't scored in 2.5 minutes, but their last 4 points have come, now 5 points have come off of free throws. So not really cutting into the lead very much, still down 12. Stewart double team there in the corner. Pass goes across court, and Hanley running 2-on-2 with Jenkins. Nice little Euro step and gets the layup to go. A nice job by Ben Hanley there off the turnover. Tigers capitalizing on that mistake by the Panthers.
That was really great transition defense there by the Panthers. Cameron Glover, who contested that shot, made it incredibly difficult on Hanley. Just better offense and a really great finish from the Tiger senior.
Sigler makes the three. He dropped it off to Stewart and got it right back as Stewart is being bombarded by the Tigers. And so Sigler making them pay, but Seiki on the other end responds with a three of his own. So some back and forth action here. First we've really seen of this, both teams making threes consecutively.
The only issue with that shot right there for Birmingham-Southern, obviously is a make, but it's one that you have to live with. Jump ball will be called here. Tigers will regain possession. We'll take a timeout.
Enzo Seiki with that three-point basket, up to 9 points. He leads all Tigers, and on the Panthers side, Chris Stewart with 9 points himself. But really what we're used to for this Tiger team, a lot of balance, 9 points from Seiki, 8 points from Jenkins and Brown respectively. This is a Tiger team that each of its starters earned SCAC honors last year. Mentioned Caleb Jenkins named Player of the Year in the SCAC. He made the first team all-conference, and he led the way of a Tigers team that got all sorts of honors in this starting lineup, with Tanner Brown making the all-SCAC second team, AJ Clark and Enzo Seiki on the all-SCAC third team, and Ben Hanley an all-SCAC honorable mention. So that's your starting five for the Tigers, and you can see how productive they were last spring and how productive they have been already this season. Of course, last year, the Tigers only facing SCAC opponents, as they did not venture out of their conference due to the shortened spring 2021 schedule, but regular season back in full swing, playing non-conference opponents from all over the region and the country, something Coach Smith is excited about, as he knows that that next step that the Tigers want to take, making the NCAA tournament, you're going to face teams from all parts of the country, so why not experience it early on here? Is that jump shot no good from Braxton Berry? First we've called his name, first year from Houston, in for the Tigers.
Yeah, Brian, a moment ago you mentioned Coach Smith coming over from Millsaps College. Birmingham-Southern knocks down the corner three ball. That's Luke Toletios. Birmingham-Southern now 4 for their last 7 from downtown, really catching fire from deep after I said that they didn't need to do that. So it's my second jinx on the day. Tigers struggling from the outside now is that one a little bit off to the left for senior Jack Williams.
And Glover at first didn't go up with the three, took a couple of steps to his right and then missed it. And Barry running, but he's going to be called for a travel as he took a couple of steps there without dribbling. So the Panthers trying to cut it to single digits. They've been down double digits most of this first half.
Brian, we talked a little bit about Coach Jimmy Smith coming over from Millsaps College. Incredibly, incredibly impressive with what he's done in his first couple of years here at Trinity. But it'll be really interesting to see how the future takes shape as he begins to get some of his own recruiting classes here at Trinity. Obviously, he's taken advantage of a number of different transfers that have made the journey over from Millsaps.
Yeah, and this Jimmy Smith's second season with the Tigers, and he agrees that that great season that the Tigers had last season, a little unexpected, 10-2, with both of those losses coming in the first game of the year and the last game of the year against a St. Thomas team that is incredibly talented, new to the SCAC and new to Division III. But they made the SCAC championship and came up just short to St. Thomas. But this team living with the pain of that loss in the final and carrying it with them into this season. They know that they don't want to feel that again, and they want to keep improving as a team. Expectations now a lot higher, and they've met them so far this year. 5-0 start as they have really rumbled their way through the American Southwest Conference. Abdullah Roberts with the 3 off the glass there. Harvey with the rebound. Now Brown gets it to Jenkins somehow, who puts it up and makes it. Lead back to double digits for the Tigers, but all 5 victories for Trinity so far this year against ASC opponents, and Brown with the long pass to Jenkins makes the layup there. Great connection.
And a great presence of mind from Jenkins, realizing the defender's getting back, timed that one up perfectly to hang in the air, let the defender run past him, and finish off the layup in the open floor.
And you see Stewart just unable to get any separation. The Tigers swarming every time he gets the ball. Sigler, though, making him pay again. So that's the second time we've seen Sigler take advantage of Stewart doubled underneath the basket. Harvey to Brown, just 8 seconds left in the half, and he's rejected. Panthers out and running. Glover leading the charge, and he will put up a 3. No good, and the buzzer sounds. So a flurry of activity there to end the first half. Tigers will maintain a double-digit lead at exactly 10 points, 48-38. You see the stats right there on your screen. Teams evening up their 3-point efforts. Had been 40-10 in favor of Trinity, but Birmingham knocking some down there at the end of the first half. And really a pretty even half. Just some missed free throws for the Panthers, and a couple more made threes for the Tigers have them up. But should be a great second half, and we'll have it right here for you on Tiger Network after a 15-minute halftime. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right here. Hello again, Tiger fans. Welcome back to Tiger Network for the second half of the Leslie Robinson Thanksgiving Classic between the Trinity Tigers and the Birmingham-Southern Panthers. Panthers will start this second half with the ball. They trailed the Tigers by 10 points here, 38-48. Tigers maintaining that double-digit lead most of the first half. But we'll see if the Panthers have a comeback in them. But right away, Brown with the steal gets it to Jenkins in the open court. And Jenkins goes up, but not able to connect with that one. Stewart doing a nice job getting back defensively. And so the Panthers resetting on offense.
Yeah, Brian, great job in transition right there. It's something that we talked about in the first half that this Birmingham-Southern team was going to need to do. Sigler a little short on that one, but gets the shooter's bounce as it falls in. Hanley quickly down the other way with the layup. Now only a 9-point deficit for Birmingham-Southern right here. So the question this half is going to be, can they slow this Tiger offense down enough as they continue to elevate both that field goal percentage and that three-point percentage?
Another turnover here. Panthers giving it up, and Clark taking it all the way to the hoop and one. Clark taking the contact and making it. Now we'll go to the free throw line, try to complete that three-point play. But as much as we talk about it and as much as we get to see it, even though this is just our second home game here for the Tigers men's basketball team, it's still hard to believe how quickly this team gets out in the open floor. Clark able to convert the three-point play, so the lead back up to 12.
Yeah, and one of the primary issues for a defense trying to get back and defend this Tigers transition play is the fact that on missed shots, right, you can assign one player, maybe two players to get back and leak out as safeties. But when you're playing this Tiger team, it doesn't make that much of a difference when all five of them are getting back and running and filling the lanes on the offensive side of the floor. Another stoppage of play there is Birmingham-Southern player. Another Tiger will get called for a flopping warning. I'm not sure who that one was on this time down the court.
I think that's on Caleb Jenkins, number 5. And since you mentioned the flopping warning earlier in the first half, this will actually be a technical foul now, since this is the second time the referees have noticed some flopping from the Tigers in their eyes. And so Cameron Glover at the line for 1. And he connects on that one. So a free point for the Panthers. Jenkins taking it up the court. This time the Panthers not pressing as they have each time that they've been able to off a made basket. So we'll see if the Panthers making some sort of adjustment. Chris Graves in his 11th season as head coach for Birmingham-Southern. Tanner Brown fouled, headed to the basket there. Chris Graves has led this Birmingham team to 2 NCAA tournament appearances in his tenure, 2 regular season conference titles, and 1 conference tournament championship. This Birmingham team has spent time in the SAA, where they are currently, the Southern Athletic Association, and in our very own SCAC, the Southern Collegiate Athletic Conference. These Panthers used to be a member along with the Tigers before they split off in 2012 and formed their own conference, now known as the SAA, which Tiger fans at home might recognize as our conference for football, as Gillespie pulls up in the paint and knocks down that mid-range jump shot. Speaking of SAA football, Luke, these two teams very familiar with one another, as the Tiger football team coming up with that huge victory in Birmingham, 28-27. I know one that put both of us on the edge of our seats, as the Tigers were able to clinch that SAA title. So a little strange to see these two teams now on the hardwood inside CalGuard Gym.
Yeah, absolutely, Brian. Of course, we were here when we watched the epic conclusion of that one. Unfortunately, the Tigers falling in the first round of the NCAA playoff the tough draw against the University of Mary Hardin-Baylor, number 2 team in the country. The Tigers having to go on the road for that one. The SAA, one of the few conferences in the country that got 2 bids to that NCAA playoff, and of course the other team being this Birmingham-Southern Panther football team. And they, on the other hand, are still alive, but they will have a tall task with the same University of Mary Hardin-Baylor Crusaders team tomorrow.
And Seiki unable to connect on that 3, but the rebound goes right to Clark, who is fouled as the shot goes in. A great job by Clark getting that offensive rebound, putting the 3 right back up there, and you see Fitzgerald trying to close out, but knocking down Clark for the second time this half. Clark will go to the line after a made shot, this time trying to complete a 4-point play. As you were talking about, Luke, a real valiant effort from this Tiger football team last week up in Belton. And now the same Birmingham-Southern team will go to Crusader Stadium, try to pull off the upset. But 2 teams we enjoyed getting to see all season long as they battled for the top spot in the SAA. And very fortunate to now get to see them inside CalGuard Gym. Tigers 5-0, Birmingham-Southern 2-2. But you mentioned at the top, as the jump shot by Toliados no good. Childers had the offensive rebound for a moment and then fouled. 2-2 record, but a couple of tough losses for this Panthers team, including a couple of exhibitions that don't officially count towards their record, but losing to Division I team Lipscomb by just 7 points and losing to Division II team Trevecca Nazarene by just 9. And so a real talented squad here, but the Tigers are leading by 17 now, and they'll keep the ball. Tigers hustling on that one, finally getting control after they allowed an offensive rebound. But Clark now taking it up, and again, no full court press from Birmingham. Seiki with a nice bounce pass, but Hanley unable to corral it. And so that'll go Birmingham's way. Just the 7th turnover for the Tigers. They average 16 a game. Something they're trying to cut down on as they learn to play quickly and together. This team with 7 seniors and 11 first years, a big gap of experience. As Childers able to connect on that one. Hanley, though, as he's done so often today, wasting no time going the other way. Jenkins this time not able to hit. And Birmingham trying to cut into this lead. Jackson over there with the little mid-range jump shot, and that has been working for Birmingham all afternoon. Perhaps not the most efficient way to get things done, as Brown gets to the basket easily. If you're Birmingham, would probably rather those open jump shots coming down from the behind the three-point arc, but the way they've made most of their baskets are those mid-range jump shots. Tigers hitting 6 of their last 8 field goal attempts, and you see right here Tanner Brown over the outstretched arm of Childers. Trinity with a 65-50 lead as we get the first media timeout in this second half. We'll be right back on Tiger Network. back from that first media timeout. Tigers with the ball. A little bit of press shown by Birmingham, but not the full court style press that we were seeing early in the first half. Was not really working for the Panthers, so it looks like they've backed off a little bit.
Yeah, Brian, and those full court presses can be used to do a couple different things. Seiki with a nice spin move, kiss off the glass, good for 2 points right there. The full court press for Birmingham-Southern, typically good for a couple different things. Right there, Martise Jackson, a little bit too aggressive on the offensive end. Caleb Jenkins drawing that charge. The Tigers will regain possession. Make a third attempt to talk a little bit about that press now. It's good for a couple of things. One of them being causing turnovers, another one being getting an offense out of their flow and rhythm. But for this Tiger team, it actually helps them. It opens up the court a little bit, allows them to push it as they so frequently do. So for this Birmingham-Southern team, now backing out of that press, it'll be important to find other ways in which they can force the turnovers. And I think that now in this half-court set, they're going to need to create some traps, get the Tigers to pick up their dribble early, and find a way that they can get out and run themselves.
Clark trying to get that one off the inbounds pass, but the Tigers get it right back, and Clark goes up and slams it down. A.J. Clark with the dunk. Tigers with their largest lead of the afternoon. 19 now.
Yeah, all of a sudden you look up and that leads balloon to 19 with an emphatic dunk right there. All the momentum has swung to the Tigers' favor as Enzo Seiki stands in the paint right there, taking another charge. Tigers will regain possession, trying to push this lead up over the top of 20 points.
And a big spark to this 6-0 run that the Tigers are on. 4 Birmingham turnovers in just the last minute and a half. That dunk, of course, coming off a turnover. And you look at the box score, 4 Tiger players now in double digits. We've got Seiki at 11. As Brown misses that three-point shot, Brown himself has 12. Caleb Jenkins with 14, and leading the way on top of all of them, A.J. Clark with 15 points. And Clark has come out of the half on fire. Toledo's unable to hit that three-point attempt. And Brown to Clark to Harvey. And he brings it back out for a second. Seiki now sees some room in the middle of the court. He steps up and hits that jumper. And I think that possession encapsulates everything that Coach Smith is looking for. He said that, yes, they want to run fast, but they have to learn when it is okay to pull it back out and run a half-court offense. And right there you saw as Glover, unable to connect on that three-point attempt, gets the rebound and gets it to Jackson, who nearly had that. Now Brown once again with the long pass from Clark, and he puts up the layup. And that draws a standing ovation here from a lot of the Tiger faithful. But that possession that we saw Enzo Seiki just stepping in the middle of the lane, pulling up for the jump shot. Not totally a half-court offense, still going fairly quickly, but it was after the Tigers looked to have some room to run in the open court, tried to get the fast break points, but then the first-year Harvey pulling it back out, letting the offense get set, and then Seiki taking it to the basket. So some really smart play there from the Tigers, and a big reason that we've seen their turnovers cut down to just 7, which would be a season low if they're able to hold it in that range. Their season low 10 so far this season.
Yeah, Brian, you talked a lot about that possession right there. They pulled it out. Obviously not as quick as some others, but still got that shot off with, I'd assume, probably under 10 seconds that have clicked or ticked off the shot clock for him right there. I think it's kind of catches the defense in limbo, kind of weird in between, where they're used to this Tiger team having put up shots within 2 or 3, maybe 4 seconds of that shot clock winding down as they push it with really deep passes down the court. But that one catches them a little bit off guard as it comes before the Tigers can really get set offensively and before the defense can get set themselves. but after that original push down the court.
We're back from second media timeout of the half. Tigers on a 10-0 run over the last 3 minutes, and they are not letting down defensively. Seiki forcing that turnover. Jenkins running in the open court now, loses the ball himself. Kane pulls up for the three, and he's unable to hit it, but an offensive rebound by Stewart, and he puts it right back up for the bucket. Kane really struggling from the field, 0 for 5, and all of his shot attempts from beyond the three-point arc. So Kane, the senior from Houston, Texas, struggling in his return to his home Lone Star State. Jackson hits that three, and now Kane with the quick turnover. Still 12 minutes in this game. Kane once again unable to hit that three, and now Jenkins a 2-on-1 opportunity, but the Panthers do a nice job getting back defensively, but still cannot stop Jenkins, who was able to take the men in black, and another steal. And do we have another dunk? Yes, we do. A.J. Clark for the second time this half with the slam dunk off the steal. And the Tigers really feeling it here, up 24 with 11 minutes left in the second half.
Yeah, and you mentioned that transition defense from the Panthers a couple of possessions ago when Jenkins went up and made that layup. We'll see Jenkins a little slow to get up off the court there. Another timeout here. That last possession, if the defense for this Panthers team hasn't been set up, hasn't been established in the paint, if they've run kind of simultaneously with these Tigers, more often than not we've seen the Tigers finish. They are more than comfortable going up simultaneously with their defender, especially Caleb Jenkins, whose great athleticism has allowed him really to hang up in the air when these defenders can't. And they fly by him, and he finishes up over the top of them. We've seen that a number of times in this game. We saw it out of him a ton last year. Definitely one of his specialties in his game. Big reason why he was named the SCAC Player of the Year in that shortened spring season. But obviously a crucial part of this team, and a big reason why the Tigers are up 24 here today.
And the Panthers probably feeling fortunate that they don't have to face Jenkins as often as they would have had he stayed at Millsaps. Millsaps in the SAA right alongside Birmingham-Southern. But Jenkins making the trip from Mississippi to San Antonio right along head coach Jimmy Smith. And we know Tiger fans here in San Antonio happy to have them both. Jenkins going to the line, trying to match Clark for the team lead in points. Jenkins at 16. He'll have a 1-and-1 attempt at the line. And that one bounces in, so he does match Clark at 17, leading all scorers. Christian Stewart leads the way for the Panthers, as he usually does. He's led the team in scoring the last 3 seasons. The super senior from Irondale, been a key contributor for this Panthers team for so long. And now the Panthers, after seeing the Tigers get out and run so much, do so themselves. Williams there with the layup, but Tigers trying to respond right back, but they turn it over. Mick Marquez gives it up to Williams, and so the Panthers back with possession of the ball. And three-pointer goes down there for Colin Glover. Ten minutes remaining here. Panthers down 80-60. Harvey with the step-back three, unable to hit. And Stewart, the big man, running with the ball. Ball bounces and touches just about everywhere but the bottom of the net, and so that'll be Tigers ball. Timeout called here by Abdullah Roberts as that full court press reappears for the Panthers. We'll take a quick timeout here on Tiger Network and be right back. Welcome back to Tiger Network. Full court press is back for the Panthers, forcing that timeout by Roberts, who gets it to Ashton Owens, and he drains the three. So he joins the scoring parade. First points of the afternoon for Ashton Owens.
Yeah, Brian, and coming out of that timeout, I would have said it seemed like there's just enough time left in this one for this Birmingham-Southern team to perhaps get back into it. But a big part of that is finding stops on the defensive end, and that's just not something that they've been able to do today. Obviously, they haven't had as many troubles in this half getting the ball to fall through the basket. It's Abdullah Roberts caught under the basket right there, gets fouled. Looked like Glover was the one who fouled him and was fooled by Abdullah Roberts' pump fake. Got caught in the air, and I believe he probably was just trying to catch himself from coming down hard. But the refs will make their way to the table, perhaps to take another look at this. We'll listen in to see if we can hear anything.
Foul to number 12, Alan Glover, his second. Team foul number 8. Officials timeout.
Getting a good look here at the replay on your screen. Roberts taking the pass from Harvey. And you see there, Colin Glover, probably what they're going to look at, whether intentional or not, did look like he got his hands around the neck of Roberts. We'll see if we can get another look at that one.
Yeah, Brian, but based on this first look, hard to imagine that this is intentional. Kind of in the middle of that, I think you can see him look down and recognize that he's in a bad spot, just trying to brace his fall a little bit, but unfortunate to grab Roberts around the neck and in the head area right there. Saw Roberts walk away from it fine. So good to see both players up and moving around the court well right now, but we'll see what the ultimate decision is from the referees here. Couldn't hear the explanation given from the referees right there. Perhaps there will be an announcement made in Calguard Gymnasium.
Roberts is stepping up to the free throw line, though, with no teammates surrounding him. So that suggests they're calling it a flagrant foul. A little more difficult in these situations compared to volleyball season when we were right on the court. We could hear what the officials were saying. We're now up in the press box, so referee's not talking to us anymore. It's okay. We can still see what's going on, and Roberts hits the first of his free throws unable to hit that second one. But the Tigers still doing a great job on that second of the points that Coach Smith really talked about in terms of needing improvement, the free throw percentage. Tigers shooting 75% from the charity stripe today. That's well above their average of 63% that they had going into today. Offensive foul going to be called there on Griffin Levine. For the Panthers, from their starting five, only Stewart remains in the game, and he gets the ball right there. And he'll head to the free throw line, but he's joined by 4 other Panthers off the bench. And for the Tigers, no starter left on the court. And as the Tigers lead by 24 with 9 minutes left, have to believe we've likely seen the last of the Tiger starters.
Yeah, I'd certainly have to agree with you there. And now it seems like they'll perhaps dip into a little bit of deeper territory on the bench. First time in this action, Mason Roberts, a senior out of Kerrville, Texas, will enter. He'll play in the front court alongside Abdullah Roberts. But another foul will be called right here. And Panthers will stay at the free throw line. Sam Spence, the guard, the sophomore guard out of Memphis, take a couple of shots here.
Spence this time able to knock down both free throws for the Panthers. They are shooting just 60% from the line, 9 of 15. So this deficit has definitely ballooned for them. So those 6 free throws don't seem like a lot, but early on in the game when it was much closer, those missed free throws played a key part in allowing the Tigers to extend their lead. That time Williams doing a nice job maintaining his balance. Looked like he might step out of bounds there as the pass went a little bit long. And again, Roberts facing some pressure on the inbounds pass, calls it timeout. We'll take it with them real quick here on Tiger Network and be right back. Welcome back to Tiger Network. Second time in the last couple of minutes, we've seen Abdullah Roberts call a timeout on the inbounds pass, facing some pressure from this full court press, but this time Roberts able to get the ball across the half court line. And Levine, for the first time today, gets on the board. Just his second shot attempt of the afternoon, and it goes down for him, so he gets into the box score. And he'll also head to the line for the and one attempt. Levine, the transfer from Pratt Institute in Brooklyn. That free throw from Levine rattles out. But Levine, one of a couple of transfers making an impact for this Tiger team. Already mentioned Jenkins. Enzo Seiki, another one of the Tiger starters, transferring from the University of Colorado, Colorado Springs, ahead of last year. And so Jimmy Smith doing a nice job blending both the talent he was left with when he showed up here at Trinity, bringing in some transfers and bringing in some new first years, of which he has 11 this year. And they're all those pieces are complementing each other and culminating in what looks to be headed to a 6-0 start if the Tigers can hold on for these last 8 minutes. Levine pulls up for the three, and he liked being in the box score after that first bucket, so why not another? He knocks down that three.
Yeah, Brian, just everything going for the Tigers right now as they look to come up with another loose ball. The Panthers will retain possession right here, but Trinity already with 89 points on the board, surpassed their season average. So just goes to show the amount of success they've had today.
And Hanley, the starter, who we thought might not be back in this game at all, misses that layup, and the Panthers going the other way. Williams. Three goes in and out. Roberts gets it, and Hanley now directing the offense, giving it right back to Roberts, who's unable to get that three, but Mason Roberts tracking down the rebound. Some contact there, a late call, but it's going to go against the Tigers. An offensive foul called on Abdullah Roberts there.
And that call coming from the referee on the far side of the court. So not in the best position to make that call. Seemed like the referee under the basket, who we typically get that call from, was satisfied, allowing the players to go and play on in that possession. We'll see the replay right here. It looked like there was a little bit of movement from the defender. Those feet a little bit tight together and a little bit of a hop before he ultimately fell backwards. But up 23 right here. I think Trinity will be okay. Hopefully Abdullah Roberts won't be too upset himself, as that 2 points is taken off the board for him.
But as we look to tomorrow, what would be day 2 of the Leslie Robinson Thanksgiving Classic being hosted here in San Antonio, the Tigers will face Carleton, a team you got to see earlier today, Luke, and the Birmingham-Southern Panthers will face Southwestern, who fell to the Carleton Knights earlier today. So what are you thinking as we head into tomorrow, day 2 of this little weekend tournament?
Well, Brian, I think starting with that first game, that 2 o'clock game, you're going to have two teams that more than likely will finish the day with defeats. We saw Southwestern go down the first action, and it looks as of right now that this Birmingham-Southern team is set to fall as well. In that first game, you're going to have two teams that were really frustrated, I think, in their games today. This Birmingham-Southern team was just outmatched by the Tigers in their pace. Southwestern really had opportunities to be in that game, but it felt like they hurt themselves, kind of shot themselves in the foot. So I think for both of these teams tomorrow, getting back into their rhythm, attacking the game the way that they set out to do, rather than kind of submitting to their opponents' strategies, is really what they're going to need to do to have success. And for this Tigers team, going up against a Carleton College team that had a lot of success on the offensive team, it'll be interesting to see how Carleton comes out on defense. We talked about them earlier in the game and kind of a conservative approach. So we see Griffin pull up for three, that one rimming off. Birmingham-Southern will take it in transition. We talked about the conservative defense that they run, more often than not dropping back into the half court. Is Griffin Levine able to finish on that layup, push his scoring total to 7 on the day. But with a team that's more conservative and willing to drop back, how successful is this Tigers team going to be getting out in the open court and running tomorrow?
I think it'll definitely be interesting to see how this Tiger team continues to adjust. And they dealt with a similar scenario last weekend as they faced a Concordia team that, very much like this Birmingham team, likes to press, likes to be aggressive on defense, and then they followed it up with a game against a UT Dallas team that is much more conservative on defense, like the Carleton team that you got to see earlier today and we'll both get to see tomorrow. But Jimmy Smith pointing out that even with those contrasting styles that the Tigers faced, scoring over 90 points in both of them. So really staying true to Trinity style of play, not changing how they play just based off of their opponent, something that they have really emphasized doing this year. and that last Levine bucket, putting the Tigers over the 90-point mark for the 4th time this season. So this Trinity offense really rolling to start this 2021 campaign.
Yeah, Brian, we've yet to see them break that triple-digit mark, but certainly in that territory today as they have still 5 minutes yet to play in this one.
Levine able to get the pass out. And the bucket good from Jacob Millhouse. First year from Plano, Texas. First action he has seen today. Both teams, you can see, though, still hustling to every ball. Nice to see as Gillespie kicks it out to Jackson, who's unable to hit that one from beyond the arc.
Tigers a little bit out of sorts right here as some players come in off the bench. Littman settles it down by passing the ball to the high post. That was Marquez right there who gave the ball right back to Littman on the give and go. He finished it with a nice layup for the Tigers.
Sigler no good from 3 on that one, but he's been the most efficient three-point shooter for the Panthers. Now 4 of 8. Early on, he was the go-to as he made a couple in a row in the first half as Littman again cuts to the basket. Some great movement without the ball. And my question for you, Luke, is as that three-pointer rims out, Childers able to get the rebound. Do you think the fans get anything for 100 points? I know that's a common thing we see in NBA games. I know I got to go to the UTSA game, that exhibition, and I think all it took was UTSA scoring 75 points, and everybody got free pluckers. So I wonder what we're going to get if the Tigers reach 100.
Well, I wonder if that's in the budget here today. Certainly a good turnout, especially over this Thanksgiving holiday. Fans certainly have been out here rowdy in support. Talked about the standing ovation. I think more than anything, they'll derive just great satisfaction from really, really awesome basketball that's been played from the Tigers here today. So you see the stats on your screen, well over 50% from the field, shot really, really well from three-point land as well, over 36% on the day. And the other area that you talked about, Jimmy Smith commenting on, that free throw percentage, still room for improvement, certainly, but already 10 percentage points higher than we've seen earlier in the season. So kind of across the board, a great, great performance from this Tiger team, what we've become accustomed to early on in this 2021-2022 season.
And I guess what we gathered from that is we're not going to get anything free if the Tigers score 100 points. I guess everybody has Thanksgiving leftovers anyway.
Absolutely.
If not, I'm sure something's on sale for Black Friday, right? I do know, as Childers misses that first free throw attempt, that it is difficult to have these games over Thanksgiving break, and this Tigers team will also have several games over the Christmas holiday break. But to keep this team united and keep this team and parents really also blending together, a big point of emphasis for a team and parents that didn't get to really meet each other last year due to COVID. Jimmy Smith hosting most of the team yesterday for Thanksgiving dinner. I'm sure they're going to be happy to go eat some leftovers today and reflect upon this victory. But earlier today, as the Tigers inch closer to 100, if you saw entering the Bell Center, little parents meet and greet, as the freshman parents, the sophomore parents, and the transfer parents really have never met each other at all on this Tiger team. And so not only the team on the court, but the parents that do such a great job supporting their kids here on every Tiger team that we get to support and broadcast for at Trinity. Parents, such a meaningful part of everything. And so Coach Jimmy Smith making sure to get them together, making sure that they know each other and become friends as this season goes along. Just the second home game here at CalGuard Gym, but we'll have many more to come, including tomorrow at 4 p.m. Trinity will be facing Carleton College.
Yeah, Brian, and I think That's such a great point. That's kind of rung true across all sports in this fall. Certainly something we witnessed while calling football games out at the renovated Trinity Stadium. So nice to have the parents back in the stands there, to see them out tailgating before every game. See them with those party poppers and confetti flying in the stands was a sight that was sorely missed during 2020, and it's been so great to have everybody back out in the stands during 2021.
I can still see the confetti flying after a Tucker Horn touchdown pass. Hope to see many more of those next season, but it's officially time to flip the script as it's basketball season, and we're so excited to bring you the entire home schedule here on Tiger Network. This is just the very beginning of what should be an exciting 2021-2022 campaign. Nice little move there from Toliados. Gets all the way to the basket. He was a big part of the effort early on. One of the lone Panthers to really connect consistently as he hit a couple of those mid-range jump shots that at the time looked to get the Panthers back in this. They went into the half down just 10, but the Tigers have done an excellent job extending their lead. And there it is, cross the century mark. Free food for someone somewhere. That's Jacob Milhouse getting the Tigers over 100 points for the first time this season. And just what an offensive outburst for this Tiger team.
Yeah, and perhaps no free food given out by any fast food partners, but certainly a celebration will ensue. It's a great pass there from Milhouse, finds the cutting Littman. Littman coming into this one, making an impact with his movement off the ball. He's accompanied on the court again by Milhouse. Some other fresh faces in the game for the Tigers. Pierce Matthews, a freshman out of Cypress, Texas. Also out there, Grayson Herr, sophomore from Farmington, Connecticut. And rounding out the five on the court for Trinity right now is Nathan Thompson, another first year out of Austin, Texas, attended Bowie High School.
Some new names out there also for the Panthers. Among them, James Nix, who, as I did some preparation for this game, got to learn that he was actually drafted in the MLB draft by the Houston Astros. He was drafted in the 35th round out of the College of Central Florida. Now he's here in Birmingham in his junior year with the Panthers. So a talented athlete, both on the diamond and on the court.
Birmingham-Southern, a school that even at the Division III level has had some success with baseball players coming out in the MLB draft. Bruce Maxwell, a catcher that attended Birmingham-Southern, had a recent stint in the MLB.
And I believe our baseball team will also take a trip to Birmingham in the spring, one of the first weekends of the season, to take on this Birmingham-Southern team. And we'll also face a couple of other schools, if I'm not mistaken. So a lot of action between these two former SCAC rivals, now in separate conferences, but still two teams that face each other quite often in all sports. Basket not going to count there for Elijah De La Garza, but a foul is called. So he'll step to the free throw line, just 19 seconds left. Tigers up 106-76, and now make that 107. A game that didn't feel like a blowout until this second half. Even though the Tigers maintained a double-digit lead throughout the first half, it felt a lot more competitive. But just at the end here, Tigers really opening it up.
Yeah, Brian, you're absolutely right about that. I look back to that emphatic A.J. Clark dunk, the first of two on the day, actually, when I looked up at the scoreboard and realized that the lead had ballooned quite a bit, and that seemed to be an exclamation mark on this one, as Trinity remains perfect in legitimate games on the year, winning this one over Birmingham-Southern. Final score 108 for your Tigers to the 76 of these Birmingham-Southern Panthers.
Yeah, an incredible output for these Tigers. 4 Trinity players reaching double digits, led by Caleb Jenkins and A.J. Clark, who both had 17 points. They were followed up by Enzo Seiki, who put up 15, and Tanner Brown with 14 points of his own. For the Panthers, they were mostly led by Christian Stewart, who had 15 points, and Luke Toliados with 13. Thank you so much to everyone for joining us on this Black Friday. Thank you to everyone in the control room for their incredible help bringing you all those angles and replays that we're so fortunate to have. For Luke Terry, I'm Brian Yanselson. We'll see you right here on Tiger Network, 2 p.m. for Southwestern against Birmingham-Southern, and 4 p.m. for your Trinity Tigers against Carleton College.